I know it has been long since the last Touhou theory slash lore talk, but the reason once again is that I've been lazy and I've been actually busy at the same time. Two things that don't really go along too well, but anyhow, we're finally getting into the video that I was supposed to make in the spring, but then new stuff came out and I made the video about What an Orange Hermit ending. So now we are finally getting to Grimoire of Usami, something I've been meaning to go over for a long time, and now we are finally getting to it. So in this video I will go through the most interesting bits I've found while reading it and kinda lay way for the next video that will finally be a full-fledged theory, and you'll soon understand why that is. But without any further ado, let's get into the Grimoire of Usami. Before we start with the pages, the interesting bits and pieces, I will have to kinda explain what the Grimoire of Usami is if you haven't read it yourself yet. The Grimoire of Usami is kinda a Danmaku reviewing book like Grimoire of Marissa, but the difference being that Grimoire of Usami has a story behind it. The story being that Sumireko Usami, I will call her Usami now, is visiting Gensokyo again, and she's talking to Marissa and Reimu. She tells them that in the outside world there is a firework festival, and Marissa and Reimu get interested and suggest that they should hold their own festival, but instead of fireworks they will just shoot Danmaku. And the idea is that people are invited and they showcase their own Danmaku, and there are judges, Marisa, Reimu, Sanae, Sakya, etc., giving them grades for their Danmaku. And in the middle of the book things go awry, and Seija and Shinmumaru come in, bringing in new people that are not so peaceful, because the first half of the book is just people shooting harmless Danmaku. There are people watching, and it was not supposed to be harmful to anybody, the Danmaku they shot. But now Shinmumaru and Seija have invited more people and they are shooting harmful Danmaku, and this part of the book brought us the most interesting bits and pieces. So while they shoot harmful Danmaku, Marisa, Reimu and the others got to protecting the people, and here we have people commenting on the Danmaku and other various things, basically just interacting with each other, which provided us with a couple interesting pieces of dialogue. So let's get it in. So the first page we will go through is Calamity Cursed Hina Dolls by Hina Kageyama, and why this page is interesting is that it is Hina who is shooting it. Hina is usually seen as someone who is the good guy. She just guides people off away from the Yukai mountain and wants to keep them safe, while also absorbing misfortune from the humans of Gensokyo. So suddenly seeing her here saying that she will curse everyone is strange. It is out of character, and I'd like to know more about Hina, because she is a character that we don't know much about, so seeing her act like this kinda provoked my curiosity again. So it would be really interesting to see or know more about her. But there really isn't anything else I wanted to talk about in this page. Just interesting behavior from Hina. God-like Yukai or Yukai-like God. We don't even actually know what's her specific species. But anyhow, let's continue. here we are actually getting to the interesting stuff. Because while Seija and Shinmyomaru invited people, they didn't invite Okina or Yukari. She herself admitted here, what the heck did Shinmyomaru invite you to here? And Shinmyomaru did not invite them, they came here on their own. And we will soon hear why. But yeah, things are getting interesting now with Okina and Yukari being involved. And here we finally have Okina and Yukari conversing with each other. Still, I never expected even you to show up, Okina. Don't tell me you had a hand in this. Of course I did. The Inchling's work was a little sloppy, so I lent a hand. There are a lot of fun entrants coming up, so look forward to it. So, here Okina says that it was not just Seija and Shinmyomaru being involved in not so peaceful people coming to display their danmaku. It was also Okina who invited people, and Shinmyomaru and Seija had no idea that she was doing this. And apparently Yukari was aware of Okina's doings because, well, she is here herself. But we yet don't know who Okina has invited or why, but that will come clear soon. Here we finally have the first hint towards what Okina is planning, with Clown Piece finally entering the stage. Ooh, the Hell Fairy, thank you for letting me meet your master. And here we have to make sure that we are all in the same page. A little timeline knowledge is needed here, because the events of Grimoire of Usami happen after the ending of Visionary Fairies in Shrine. And why is this important? It is important because here Okina says that she has used Clown Piece to get in contact with Hecate, and we don't yet know if they have met face to face before the events of Grimoire of Usami, or if it has just been Clown Piece sending messages back and forth. But if you remember from the Visionary Fairies in Shrine, Okina did send message to Hecate, and that message was a kind of declaration that Okina is there and she exists, kinda telling Hecate that she is there. And people assumed that it was kind of a warning to Hecate to don't mess with Gensokyo, but I see it differently. I see that message as Okina showing interest towards Hecate, and here it is kind of confirmed. She and Hecate have been talking to each other. We don't know if face to face or through Clown Piece, but it is confirmed that Hecate and Okina have been conversing. And here we finally get Hecate coming up to the stage. She herself doesn't say too much interesting stuff, but what's really interesting is what Okina has to say. Welcome to Gensokyo, Goddess of Hell. I appreciate you accepting my invitation. Feel free to rampage across the earth as you please. This confirms that the message Okina sent to Hecate wasn't a warning. It was to contact Hecate. And here we can see that Okina herself invited Hecate to Earth. We don't know why, but she must have some reason, because as you will see later, it is not just Hecate she invited, but here she says, feel free to rampage across the earth as you please. So she is giving a go-ahead, just show off your power. She wants to see what Hekatia is made of. And here we have the most interesting page in all of Grimoire of Usami. Bravo! Isn't seeing the moon just break and fall into pieces so exhilarating? Breaking the moon is just so... well, let's say I'm looking forward to the next one. And this blew my mind when I was reading this, because as we all know, there have been a couple Genso-lunar incidents, but Okina has never been involved in any of them, or as far as we know. I'm pretty sure she was aware of the events of Legacy of Lunatic Kingdom, and pretty sure she was aware of things going on during the Silent Sinner in Blue, but she did not have a hand in those events, or she doesn't as far as we know. But we don't know if she was involved in the first Genso-lunar war about 1,000 years ago, and this begs a question. If here she says breaking the moon is just so, well, let's just say I'm looking forward to the next one. Is she talking about Genso-lunar war? Because inviting Hekatia here and pretty much telling her to show your power is kinda hinting that she too is enemies with the lunar capital, but we don't know why. But then we have Yukari here, not so enthused. What are you playing at, Okina? You do realize how half-baked all of this is, don't you? She isn't really impressed that Okina invited Hekatia here. She isn't really impressed and doesn't show as much enthusiasm as Okina, which brings me to believe that their hatred towards the lunar capital is much different. And I'm pretty sure that Okina has something against lunar capital. She wouldn't otherwise say this here. That she is looking forward to the next breaking of the moon. I'm pretty sure she is referring to the Genso-lunar wars, which is really interesting, and I will go more in depth in my next theory video, which will revolve around Okina, finally. I know many people have been requesting it, and well, till now I haven't really had any material on enough material on Okina to make a theory about her, but now we finally have, and you will be sure as hell that I will go through this more in depth. But moving on, and now we are getting to the really interesting stuff, because not only Hekatia was invited, but also Junko, and what Okina has to say is also really interesting. Yes, this is the power I wanted to see. I knew inviting the goddess of hell was the right decision. She is saying here that she knew about Junko's existence, which leads me to believe that she was aware of the events of Legacy of Lunatic Kingdom, even if she didn't get herself involved. But yeah, she knows about Junko and wants to know her power herself, which further leads me to believe that her messages to Hekatia weren't hostile in any way. She was basically just contacting her, wanting to see what they are all about, because I believe that Okina's, Junko's and Hekatia's, their motivations align. Okina has something against lunar capital, and I'm pretty sure that this is proof of that. She is really interested in Junko, and I don't see any other reason for that other than that they have aligning motivations against lunar capital. And I'm really interested in seeing where this will lead. And here we have proof of Yukari not really sharing Okina's enthusiasm, because Sumireko says here that even Miss Yukari got up to help defend the audience. Does that mean this lady is so dangerous that even Reimers isn't enough? Meaning Reimu. So here we can see that Yukari is really not enthralled about Junko coming in and showcasing her power, while Okina is just perfectly fine and interested in her. Yukari, on the other hand, believes that Junko is big enough threat that she herself has to stand up and defend the audience from her. This is really interesting because this aligns perfectly with the theory I made. Was it Touhou theory about the creators of the barrier, or the one before that? I can't remember, but this aligns with the things I said there, that Yukari, Junko and Hekatia, while they all are the enemies of the lunar capital, they still are not allies, because, well, go watch that video if you haven't already. But yeah, Yukari, Junko and Hekatia, they are not allies, even if they share the common enemy. But yeah, the following few pages are just Junko showcasing her power and Okina acting really interested in her. And here is the same. And here Junko admits that what she just showed wasn't her full power, which further leads me to believe that Yukari is really not comfortable around Junko and Hekatia. I believe she sees those two as a serious threat. If she had to get up and protect the audience from Junko, and then Junko admits that it was just for the show. This kind of character interactions between the three here, I'm saying this a lot, but it's really, really fascinating. But yeah, here Okina kinda admits that she was expecting a performance from Junko and Hekatia. Quite a performance there. So she was inviting those two to Gensokyo to show her what they are all about. Yeah, let's continue. Here we finally see that Yukari wasn't really clueless about what Okina was doing and was prepared herself, because we have Sagume coming, and Okina did not invite her. I didn't invite her either. And why isn't she saying anything? It will be confirmed later, but it is already clear that it was Yukari who invited Sagume to help. And here we have yet more interesting character interactions, because Junko, Hekatia and Yukari, they are all enemies with the lunar capital, but when coming to contact with each other, Yukari will rely on help from the lunar capital to deal with the two. Allying with them doesn't come into question at all, and she goes as far as to rely on her enemy to deal with them, rather than dealing with them herself. Which begs the question, why? Of course, I have my theory about that in the video Creators of the Barrier. Well, the one after that also. But yeah, this kinda aligns with the things I said in those videos. So let's continue. So here Sagume uses her ability to kinda put an eventual stop to this festival. And here Yukari admits that it was her doing, that Sagume came to stop the festival. While I hate to rely on the residents of Ayente for anything, this was the quickest way to bring an end to chaos. I'm practical Yukai after all. So, she admits it. She hates to rely on Lunarians, but she also says that this was the quickest and probably the safest way to kind of stop whatever Okina was doing, bringing Junko and Hekatia here. But yeah, the most interesting stuff is kind of behind us, so let us continue. And now, finally, we reach the final 2 pages of the... well, not really the final 2 pages, just final 2 interesting pages. The Okina, Yukari, Hekatia and Junko thing, it's kinda like over at this point. Not much about that anymore, but still we have a couple interesting pages, and I just want to talk you through these ones, because in this one we actually finally get some character development. I was actually about to praise Zan just purely because of this page, but when I was initially about to make this video, but then the Wild and Honest Hermit ending happened, and it kinda is plus minus 0. But anyhow, what makes this picture, page interesting is that Flandre and Remilia are performing together here, and well, what makes that interesting is that this is the first time since Flan blew up the meteorite that she is going outside the mansion, and this is new stuff. It is also the first time ever when Flandre has appeared in front of everyone, because before this Flandre was kind of a secret of the Scarlet Devil Mansion. Only few people knew of her existence, but now everyone knows that she exists. Also, this is not the only interesting thing that is in this page, because the comment from Marisa is also really interesting, because if you remember in our very first theory video, we speculated that Flandre and Remilia were not really in good terms. And here, Marisa kinda confirms it. Did these sisters always get along so well? Marisa knows herself that they did not get along this well as to perform together, so Marisa herself is acting doubtful here. This kinda confirms that they have not always been in such good terms. We don't know in how bad terms they were before, but this confirms that they have gotten better, and since Marisa knew that they were in not so good relationship, that kinda shift in their friendliness toward each other happened after they arrived against Sokyo. So yeah, actual character development going on here for Flandre and Remilia, which I truly like. I really like. Also, I like that Flandre gets more appearances. So yeah, but anyhow, let's continue to the final page that I want to talk about. Eirin, Yakugoro and Kaguya Horizon appearing. And the only interesting thing here is just that Yukari confirms that she asked Eirin for help when contacting the Lunarians, and the way I see the things went is that Yukari went and asked Eirin for help. Eirin wrote a letter, Yukari delivered that letter, and the rest is history. But yeah, your letter was very useful. The ability to reverse a situation certainly is convenient, and to think I got to see such rare Danmaku as a side effect. But yeah, what is going on between Okina and Hekatia is a really interesting topic, and we will go further into that in the next video, when we will finally get a proper Okina theory that many of you have requested for a long time now, and it will finally be made. I don't know when, but it will be eventually. I wouldn't expect it to be made before New Year, maybe not even too soon after it, but I will try to get it out before spring, which is something I guess. But yeah, I won't drag this episode any longer because it's pretty long already. So yeah, without any further ado, this was finally me talking you through the events, or more like the most interesting stuff of the Grimoire of Usami. And yeah, in the next episode we will go much further into detail what I have kinda made up from all this. But yeah, for now I will have to bid you a farewell. My name is Touhou, and we'll see in the next video.